Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. I hope everybody's doing fine. Hey, Daisy Joe. How are you this evening? I hope you're doing good. Hello, Susie. Welcome, welcome. Thursday, June 6th. Hello, mythical. Get it out. Daniel Berry, Sports Highlight. And Cindy, hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. I hope everybody's doing good today. How is the weather? D Lucky, Nene Nut Nut, Beth Ann, hello, beautiful. Cajun, the inside, hello, hello, welcome, welcome. I hope everybody's doing okay today. Glad to see you're all here. I don't know who all's live and who all is not, but it is so good to see you. So good. Good, good, good. Good. Hello, Moonflower. Yeah, it's nice to see everybody in chat. 109 degrees. My goodness. Yeah, this humidity too is ugh. Hey, Cindy. Hello, Amy Lou. Good, good. Glad to see you checking in. I didn't know who all was live and who wasn't, and I started to go live, and then people started coming in. Hey, Robin. Hello. Yeah, don't forget to hit the like. Yeah, don't forget to hit the like. And actually, there's a few disturbances out there, so I don't know. It looks like it's going to rain, and I don't really know what's going on. It's been raining. The mosquitoes are bad. I go out back, then I go out front, and it's just hot, humid, all the things, all the things. So I got sent something that was very interesting, and I actually wanted to do it because I really got into it today, and I really listened closely. I was like, whoa. It's on, and I'll put up the link because it's a full court TV. It was a court TV story. Hey, wise old lady, good to see you. And I know, Beth Ann, one of them's not good, I don't think, but I think there was like 4 out there. And I don't like to start watching them because it's like if you start watching them, it's like 2 weeks worth of that. I mean, because you do have warnings and stuff, you know that. I am Serenity. Actually, I'm going to actually call you probably after this live. Oh my goodness. I have been swamped. And I'm really going to call you after this live. I have not forgot about you. I have not. This week has been so hectic. So please don't think I forgot about you. And I'm usually better about this. I really am. But anyway, I've been so swamped. So swamped. I know you do. I know you do. I've been mailing packages out. Today's my mom's birthday. I had to call her. I was running way late like 12 o'clock here doing that. It's like crazy. But anyway, I'm going to put up the court TV thing. This happened, a few years back, but it's interesting. It's very interesting. And I picked it apart. And, I wanted to talk about it. Y'all may have heard about this case. Susan and John Sutton is the names. Beth Ann, you really might have. Also, it's further down. It was actually the first time I had heard about it. John was a lawyer. John Sutton was a lawyer. Very wealthy people down in Miami, down by Clark Gables. This was a real murder mystery, real huge at the time, and it seemed to be right out of the movies. Hey, Kat! Welcome. Good to see you. Good to see you. But it seemed to be right out of the movies at the time. But this place also, and I had to write a lot down. It, they took their son and they adopted him when he was. They actually, both of their children, they adopted their son Chris. Those the one I'm talking about. Chris Sutton, when he was about 2 days old, I believe. 2 days old, makes him absolutely theirs. I mean, they're really rich people. But this, I was going to put this last, but I want to put this first because I want to put this out there. I like to point things out because sometimes people don't like to sit through this stuff, but I think it's important. I want to put this out there. There's this place also. Chris started, as he got a teenager, started getting in trouble, as all teens do, little things here and there, but Chris got a little bit worse. And I won't go into all that because I'm going to do that later on. But there's this place. They ended up putting him in a boarding school. Okay, and as you're going to see later on, there's this place, and you know, when you're a lawyer and stuff like that, you can afford to do all that. But anyway, this place is what's fascinating to me. Okay, we'll get into the name and stuff like that later, but it was 7,000 miles away from them. I believe it was over in Somalia. We'll get to that later, but you have to be 15 to 18 to get there, to get in there. I'm sorry. I think you go through Las Vegas to kind of get the information and get there and all that stuff. I got all of that. But this boarding school, they don't want you to wear shoes because so you don't run away. I found that interesting. Found it interesting. And you go from the ages 15 to 18. And in his case, he kind of failed the schooling. So they asked the father, they said, you know, he kind of failed. And I don't know if it's like military or all this stuff, but he kind of failed. So the father, John, got it where he could stay another year. Boy, I know that made him mad because when you're an adult and you're 18, you should be able to go. Well, he wasn't able to go. He had to stay another year. So I wanted to put that out there. And we'll get into this place. It's called Paradise something. I got all that information and we'll get into that. But I wanted to throw that up front first. Normally I wouldn't do that, but I am now. Is he's still in jail though, July, from hearing? I guess he stays unless he makes bail or the state doesn't do another trial. And you're talking about, are you talking about Chris now, or are y'all talking about something else? Hey, Aaron. I don't know if you're talking about the same. I don't know if y'all are talking amongst yourselves or not. But I had just read before I come on here. I think Chris died. So there's that. We'll get to all that. I just want to put that out there, okay? So I don't know. I just thought that was weird about the place. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Hello, everybody coming in, and welcome. I just found this an interesting story. Oh, not the case. Okay. So anyway. But this is a real life story, and it happened to real people, unfortunately. This was a very rich, wealthy family, and they were not hurting for money whatsoever. Hey, Diane. Hello, everybody. And they lived in Miami, and it was unreal to even think it could happen. It was very unreal. But it did happen. And we're going to talk about it. I just want to talk about it. Someone, while they were laying in bed trying to go to bed that night, Susan and John Sutton was their name. They were married. And he was a lawyer and very wealthy, well-known, well-to-do attorney. They were going to bed. And they pretty much lived in a, well, I would call it a mansion in my eyes. I'll show you pictures later too. But nonetheless, somebody walked in the door, in their bedroom door, which was cracked open, and all black. All black. So now Susan was on her phone. Okay. Susan was talking on her phone, and John had just laid back and laid down and flipped the TV on. And this person come rushing in all black. John didn't have time to do anything but turn around and look. And pow, 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 pow. Now, they shot and managed to kill Susan. Now, I'm going to try not to sugarcoat and all this. So I'm not going to, if you want to say trigger warnings, okay. Just like Michael H goes around saying on here sometimes, what are they going to do if you say kill and this, that, and listen, I ain't got time to be making up nicknames and all that. So if I say pew pew, I say it. If I say gun, I say it. Listen, I'm going to call it like it is over here, okay? Just stay with me and follow. But anyway, this could happen to anybody, and it happened in a well-to-do, secure neighborhood. So here's the thing. Susan was on the phone talking, and they come in and shot her. She was instantly gone, but John didn't know that. They turned the gun and shot John, okay? They shot him multiple times. They shot him in the head, and I think they shot him he was saying in the arm or shoulder. Again, there's a video. I don't want to play it because I don't want what happened to happen on 48 Hours to happen on court TV because it's a long thing. I will put the video up later. I'll share it after this. He said he got shot here and it come out down here. He's blind in one eye. I think he lost his eye because his eye is like this, but he's blind. And if I'm not mistaken, he either lost a thumb or a couple of fingers or something. But he did manage to survive. And he didn't know at that time what had happened to his wife, but he managed to pick up the phone and he managed to call 911. Well, when 911 got there, of course, now here's the deal. A lot of people ask, 911 had him come outside. A lot of people wanted to know. And no, Kathy, don't ask me why I'm laughing. It's not funny. What's funny is they asked him to come outside. So if you want to know, I'm laughing because that is totally crazy. However, I got an answer for that. They asked him to come outside, okay? And he managed to stumble and fumble and get himself outside. Well, why did they ask him to come outside? Because they're trained, if they don't know if it's safe to come in, they don't come in, and he was coherent. I don't know how that man was coherent, but he was coherent enough to get himself outside. And he let them know there was nobody in the house, so they were able to go in. They found his wife. They got him to the emergency room, got him in ICU. He had his surgery, whatever had happened, okay? John didn't know for a long time that his wife was dead. Now, in the meantime, the son, Chris, come up. had interactions with the police and everything. The funny part was they asked him, he wasn't upset. They asked him, he asked them what happened. And they told him his parents had been shot, yada, yada. He immediately pulled out these movie tickets and told them he had been at the movies. Do you want the tickets? Here's the tickets. I don't know if they needed them or not, but anyway, that was his alibi. So they didn't think anything about that. They let him go, whatever. And he really didn't show any grief or anything. But he wasn't a suspect. He had an airtight alibi. But again, John, he was shot in the head. He's blind. He managed to call 911. He stumbled out when they arrived. He didn't know what had happened to his wife, Susan. Nothing like that ever happens in that part of town. Never. Beautiful, nice. Susan was dead in the bed. John was rushed to the hospital. And he didn't know anything for a few days. When he started coming around, he asked, how was Susan doing? Now, he has a daughter he also adopted. And his daughter just told him she was in the next room and she was being worked on. And nobody told him about Susan, that she had died, until later on. Now, again, John was this very prominent, well-to-do lawyer. And they didn't know if, the law, the family, anybody, they didn't know if John had any enemies or somebody was upset with him or anything. They didn't know if somebody was trying to take revenge on him. Hell, John didn't even know. For the most part, he was pretty loved. But then all the wild speculations started taking place. Was it a lover between somebody? Was it a triangle? They scraped to find a motive. John had said very, very early on there was this lady, and she threatened him. She threatened to shoot up his office, his law office. And so because of that, there was a couple of police officers and detectives that went out to talk to that same lady and pay her a visit. So people, be careful. Be careful what you say and do, because years later, things can come back to bite you. It can come back to bite you what you say or do or threaten. Just saying. Anyway, they went to talk to her about this threat that she had made. And it was a real threat. Plus, there was eyewitnesses that said, because they lived on the water, okay? So it was like a canal. So there was this eyewitness, or these eyewitnesses, that said, hey, we saw this boat speeding through the water that night, the night it happened. Okay. And the boat was similar to hers. And that was true, but it was not hers. So nobody lied, but it was not hers. Hey, Sarah. So then there was this guy named Teddy. Oh, Lord, Teddy. Teddy Montoto. Now, they really started to look at Teddy Montoto. The reason that they started to look at Teddy Montoto was because then the police realized the night that all this happened, during all this disaster, Teddy showed up at the crime scene at the house right after the police. Who was Teddy? Teddy was the partner of John at the law firm. Well, how did he know any of this was going on? So they started to look at him and they started to suspect him and they started to question him. All the things. Now, he was his law partner and they just come into this huge deal, like this $1 million case that they just cleared the money on. Okay, so everybody should have been happy. So they do question him and they feel he's leaving something out. They don't really tell him that, but that's what they feel like. So they go on to investigate him and they find out that him and Susan has been having this affair, John's wife. They've been having a sexual affair. Okay? Not good, people. Not good. So usually that's a perfect motive for murder. So he was questioned and he took a polygraph test. He fails the polygraph test. He fails the polygraph test. Now, I have told y'all 100,000 times, well, maybe not that many, but I've told y'all over and over again how I feel about polygraph test. I don't like polygraph tests. I've never had to take one, but I feel they're stupid. I feel the only reason that I personally feel okay, if you haven't heard how I felt in my personal opinion on polygraph test, then you either go back and watch some of my lives, or I will tell you now, I feel like they're a waste of time, a waste of money, and all the above. There's been serial killers who's took them and passed. There's been innocent people that have failed, and I just think it's a whole waste of time. The only reason I say anything about polygraph test, whether you pass or fail, I feel like if you don't take one, and you're asked to, it makes you look guilty. You know, like Chris wouldn't take one. That makes you look guilty. Nancy wanted him to take one. He didn't. He backed out. It makes you look more guilty. But again, they don't hold up in a court of law. They don't hold water. So what is the point? What is the point? Okay, Deb, you can listen while you work. You're fine. So what is the point? It's just a waste of time and money to me. That's just me. But he failed his polygraph test. So now he's like a very big suspect. He's having an affair with the wife, which is bad enough in itself. He didn't want that to come out, so he's failed the polygraph test. He showed up at the crime scene. all these things that makes him look very suspicious. And so he is now a suspect, right? So now they got this guy, and in Ellie's eyes, he's screwing his partner's wife. This is in Ellie's eyes. He's in a law firm, a partner. He's failed a polygraph. He was at the scene of a crime. He's showing up, which most suspects do that. They go back or they show up, and now that's a huge motive, right? Well, guess what else he does? Teddy also volunteers. Now, he's an attorney, okay? They say he's a darn good attorney. Some people have more book sense than they do common sense. And common sense goes a long way sometimes. Let me just tell you. Teddy, the attorney, the wonderful attorney, he tells police, he volunteers the information, and he tells police the very same day that, hey, I've been out shooting my gun, and I'm an expert marksman. Really? You can't make this crap up. I mean, this guy is so truthful. You can't make this up. He's so truthful of himself, and being an attorney, he needs to take his own advice, in my opinion, and just keep his mouth shut. The one that do not speak. You might want to remain silent unless you have an attorney, because everything you say and do will be used against you in a court of law. That part. Have you ever heard the saying, some people are so smart they are just dumb as hell? Or they have all the book sense in the world, but some of them have zero common sense? Because if you hadn't, I just said it. Well, a little common sense goes a long ways, people. Sometimes you just gotta shut up and don't volunteer the information. But that, when he told him about he'd been out shooting and he was an expert marksman, that really raised the eyebrows. Because, see, even the next morning, he would have gunshot residue on his hands. I guess, now I'm trying to think with a little bit of common sense. I guess he kind of had to talk and tell them. But then again, I wouldn't have talked and told them shit. I would have kept my mouth shut unless they wanted to check and see if I had gunpowder on my hands. Then I would have told them, well, I've been out shooting and I have that alibi. I have my receipts. I mean, really, folks? And his partner, John, the one that was blinded, the one his wife died, and all the things, he said he still never suspected him. He never suspected Teddy, even after all that. So was the police wasting their time? I ain't trying to talk about the police, but was they wasting their time? Teddy had an alibi. They should have checked that out. He was very cooperative. He had done everything asked. Then the cops realized, ding, ding, ding. Teddy is not our guy. Teddy's not our guy. We are barking up the wrong tree. Whoops. Whoops. Damn, all this time we wasted. A killer is walking among us. They're walking among us. Come to find out, the entire reason he even showed up at the crime scene after cops, guess why? Because he was the one on the phone with his lady that he was having the affair with, Susan, when the people come in to shoot her and kill her. And he heard the bullets. The line went dead. She didn't say anything, and he went rushing over there. By the time he got there, the cops was already there talking to her when the entire thing happened. So he was cleared. He was fully cleared. But he failed the polygraph because he was having the affair with her, and he denied having an affair with Susan. They found he was talking to her when it happened by the phone records. They found all that. They cleared him. It could have been so much easier, though, if Teddy, would have just told the truth. Some people just go to their graves. They want to go to their graves and never tell the truth. It would have been so much easier and saved a lot of time and a lot of trouble. I don't know why some people want to go to their graves and never tell the truth. I don't know why. It happens. But John had to suffer greatly his wife's murder, his partner's betrayal, his wife's affair with their business partner. That was already a lot to handle. That was a lot. Oh, where's Summer? They did? Oh, thank you, Jesus. Oh, there was a little boy Jackson missing, and she went to help find, and they found him. Thank God. He was missing since last night, and they didn't report him until today. I don't know some people. Thank God. Was he was okay, right? Jesus. Oh, praise God. Praise God. Yeah, they'll never have peace, I am serenity. They never will. They never will. Thank God we're Summer. Thank God. But John suffered greatly his wife's murder and her betrayal and his affair with his business partner. That's already a lot to take in. Now, he was also tried to be murdered. He's now blind. He will never be the man he once was. His quality of life has gone way down. You know, he's lost at least a thumb, I think. I can't remember. Or fingers, something to that effect. And he's got to have memory of his wife when he was crawling in bed, was on the phone with her lover, and that's the last person she was talking to for the rest of his life. Think about all of that. Now, folks, Chris Sutton, the son, was being interviewed the night he pulls out the movie tickets. We're going to rewind that. He pulls out the movie tickets and he says, look, talking about him and his girlfriend, we were at the movies, which was odd, the cop said. Nothing was thought about that at that time until, let's fast forward it a few months past this. A few months later, here comes his friend, Garrett, coup. He was arrested. His friend Garrett was arrested. Then, now you can really go get your popcorn out, people. Because when Garrett was arrested, they found the gun. And at that point, they knew they had the right person and the right gun, and they had all the right bullets. You see? Months, though, had passed. And after they arrested Garrett for the murder of Susan Sutton and the attempted murder of John Sutton, they found out Garrett was one of Chris Sutton's closest, and I mean closest, friends. So they arrest Garrett for an unrelated crime at first, and they run the gun, and they find it's the gun, and it matches, and all the bullets matches. There's no perfect crime. So they start the interview process. Yes, I know Chris Sutton. I knew him a few years back. We were good friends. We lived at the same apartment complex. We smoked weed together. Not only did we smoke weed together, we sold dope together. We smoked dope and we sold dope. We was just everything together. We was good buds. Yada, yada, yada. They chilled together. They did all the things. They were friends. They did everything. Garrett rolled over his friend on his friend Chris. That's what they do, people. They roll over on you. They will, to save their own butt. They'll do it to save their own butt. And he was right there in jail, so he's going to save his own butt. You know, the first one gets the deal. Well, he was the one in jail. So Chris, John, and Susan's son, Chris wasn't in jail, but John and Susan's son did not mean shit to him. To Garrett. Sure didn't. Chris was not his friend after all. He was not his ride and die, and he was not his ride and live. Garrett was out for number one, himself. And he was going to save his own butt at all costs. Trust that. He was in Florida. He wasn't about to try to get that death penalty that we have. No. He was out for number one, and he was going to look out for his own self. Plus, John didn't die, so he wasn't going to collect any $100,000 he was promised either. He didn't get no money. He done killed somebody and didn't even collect. Garrett told them that he was supposed to get $100,000 from an inheritance that Chris was going to get once his parents was dead. Police have Garrett's confession, and they have the gun that was used in the murder. They have the show. They have to show now that Chris Sutton had a motive, and what Chris, the son, what his motive was. Well, here we go. When Chris was very young, Chris started acting up. Okay? He started acting up and he started acting out because he had everything in the world. Sometimes everything's not good. but he started acting up and he started acting out. Some things were normal. Teens are going to be teens. They're going to learn, they're going to make mistakes. But Chris started acting up and acting out. He started smoking, obviously. He started smoking weed. He started selling dope. But most would expect teens, just to be teens. But he started being bad. He started getting in trouble in school, but it got worse. It got worse. He had bad anger issues. He got angry a lot. Now, that could come from being adopted. But there's no excuse for what he did. Chris started threatening his parents. His dad, John, being an attorney and being in and out of court and all that, he wasn't afraid. He even said, he didn't really make me afraid, not much, whatever. But John said, Susan, which I think, in my opinion, this is just me, maybe John should have paid a little more closer attention. That's just me. I don't know what went on in that house. I don't know what John did or didn't do. I'm not making no excuses or whatever, because I think John had a real rough time. What John went through is horrible. So I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying. It should have been addressed right then. You get what I'm saying. But it got bad because Susan was scared of that boy. And so, boys can get bigger than the moms and stuff like that. And guess what? It got bad because Chris started putting his hands on the mom. And guess what he did? He started scaring her. Even John said she got more scared of him. And guess what? He even started choking the mom. Oh, hell no. So he started choking the mom. So she got very scared. No telling, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that was not good. And when you choke somebody, that's very personal. When you choke somebody, that's very personal. But anyway, so he would threaten his mom. He would fight her. And he would do the same to his dad. But his dad said not as bad and less extreme. So his mom was actually frightened of him. Okay. Well, she had good damn reason, in my opinion. So he became very problematic. He would put his hands on her. John Sutton said, later on, Susan, the mom, come across this letter. Now, I don't know how long it was when this letter was found before this incident where she was murdered and John was almost murdered. But his mom, I guess, was cleaning up. She opened this book or something. She found this letter to Chris's girlfriend. Okay. This letter fell out, and it was telling that basically Chris was threatening to kill the mom and the parents, the mom and the dad, both of them. So John goes and gets this restraining order against the son, Chris. And he gets this restraining order, and he gets it right away. He says he don't waste no time. So I don't know if that was the time when he gets the apartment, or if that was a couple of years before. I don't know. But anyway, he gets the restraining order. He said he takes immediate action, gets the restraining order. That happens. I don't really know. I just know he's got the restraining order. I know that Chris was acting out. I'm not thinking it's when he moved in his apartment. Probably not. So, because he put him in this, okay, he must have got the restraining order, and this is when he put him in the home. But whatever. He puts him in the boarding school. That's where he puts him. He puts him in the boarding school. Okay, he sent him away. He puts him in the boarding school. Okay, we're at the boarding school. He sent him to this boarding school. 7,000 miles away. I don't know when Chris had his own apartment. I don't know what the dude was talking about. But anyway, never forget the apartment. His dad puts him in this boarding school. This boarding school is called Paradise Cove. And it's over in Somalia. It's called Simona for short, if I'm saying it right. Probably saying that wrong. But anyway, it's 7,000 miles away from his family. And it's very, very strict. And they try to change your behaviors. And they try to fix you. Lord have mercy. They try to make you a better person. And I'm sure the parents spent a pretty penny doing that. Well, obviously it didn't work. That's just my opinion. I think Chris stayed there a year. He turned 18, but then the program told the mom and dad, because he tried to manipulate the parents, and he tried to tell the parents. He sent videos. You'll see that in the court TV thing. I don't want to play that again here. I don't want my channel to get took down like it did, and go back and edit. I don't do all that shit. And I'll share it as soon as I get done with this. But you see the whole story with the dad talking and all that. But anyway, they went over and flew over to see him because they tried to manipulate. He tried to send videos crying and stuff, manipulating them, saying, they're being so mean to me, come get me or whatever. And that was not the case when they got over there, because that place was like a wonderful whatever kind of place. And anyway, they spent time with him. Everything's good. The only thing, they just don't let you wear shoes because so you don't run off, which I find weird, but whatever. And they stayed. Well, when the program was over and he turned 18, which normally you're an adult and you can do what you want to do, but he's 7,000 miles away over in Somalia. They told the dad he didn't pass the program, and if there was anything they could do to keep him there, they would try to continue to work with him. So the dad pulled it off and got it where he could stay one more year. Chris didn't like that. Well, I'm going to be honest with you, I wouldn't like it either. Again, I'm not saying nothing against the dad. I think they tried to do everything they could to help him in their eyes. Was it help? I don't know. This one, I don't know, man. But it's a very difficult place. It's very, very disciplined and very structured. I don't know what to say about it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I think you should be responsible for your own children, if you ask me. But I'm not here for this nor that or the other. I just don't know. This is a horrible crime. I don't know. But Chris wanted to come home so bad, he tried to manipulate his parents. This is a motive, is what I'm trying to tell you. He hated his parents for this. He hated them. Again, it was called Paradise Cove. And he had to stay that extra year till he was 19. When he turned 19, he come home and lived with his parents. So that's another thing. He was living with his parents when all this took place. And after his mom was killed by him hiring somebody, and his dad was going through this until the dude was arrested, and it come out he had something to do with it. That's another burden his dad had to live with. I'm living in the house with my killer, basically. A lot. So, yes, thank you, Millie. Thank you. I'm going to be getting some new merch pretty soon. They said they're going to revamp everything. Thank you. So I know even by his own dad's words that really sent Chris over in a tailspin to be there till he was 19. In a way, again, I don't blame him. But look, if he was threatened and he threatened to kill his family and he had been abusing his whole family, especially his mom, and he had put his hands on her or anybody else, and he had issues, and he had issues at school and home and all the things, I cannot blame the parents for doing everything possible that they thought they could try to do to help him. Even if it didn't help in the end, that only means they don't have to wonder, did they do everything they possibly could? The program after a year already did not help. After 2 years, obviously it didn't help. Their child was not successful. I don't think he was ever going to be successful. That's just my opinion. So fast forward, and the cops tell John, they go over and they tell John, we got good news and we got bad news. What's the good news? John says. The good news is we got the killer. Oh, yeah? Who is it? It's Garrett. And they told him because he knew Garrett as Chris's friends. What's the bad news? Chris. Chris hired him to kill y'all. Can you imagine? I couldn't in a million, trillion, zillion years. I couldn't. I couldn't imagine anybody even telling anybody, me, somebody had even hired a hitman, much less somebody I loved, much less my child. This man, and he's living in your house. My God. So he has to deal with all that. Then they call him and say they arrested Chris and he's charged with conspiracy to commit murder to kill his parents. Greed and resentment is what the prosecution said Chris Sutton's motive was, and it was very toxic. July 7th, 2010 is when the trial started. They told Chris not only had Garrett confessed and given a statement about him, but his girlfriend did too. Oh, and by the way, his girlfriend worked at the law office as well. Chris sometimes, because he lived off of mommy and daddy's money, sometimes he would go carry checks and have them deposited into the bank. Chris didn't want to do nothing. Okay? He was spoilt. But Chris had a reply to when he was told his girlfriend had made a statement against him and Garrett had given a statement against him. Do you want to know what his reply was? Because when it was about him, he showed no emotions the night that he come and found out the cops was there, that his parents were possibly dead, that his mom was dead, and his dad could possibly die. And all the commotion went on. He didn't show none. He never showed none about his parents. He only showed emotion when it was about him or what had been done to him, or when he cried in the trial, it was about him, and what had been done. They said that made him a sociopath. But do you know what he said to that reply? When he was told his girlfriend made a statement and his friend made a statement, when they were interviewing him, he put his hands over his head and he started, ooh, and then he said, I'm fucked. That was his statement. So Chris Sutton, of course, had one of the very best attorneys that money could buy. But he wasn't there. So there was no forensic evidence, zero. And there was no blood, no gunpowder, no nothing, because he hired somebody to do this, his friend. He was at the movie having popcorn, remember? And soda. Possibly sugar daddies, sugar babies. I don't know. Hershey chocolate, kisses. Whatever they sell at the movies nowadays. I don't know. But John Sutton, the dad, did testify. See, Chris was adopted again when he was 2 days old. John and Susan was so excited. They always loved and treated him no different than their very own. This was so hard for John, John said. But the specialist testified that sometimes adopted kids that are adopted feel like they are throwaways, and they're always usually angry deep down. Chris had no emotion about his parents. Only, again, even at trial, only how he was treated by the police or by being put in the paradise place. I bet he wished he had the paradise place rather than prison. It showed when he was coming out of the theater. He was on the phone. Oh, there was 170 calls between Chris and Garrett. I guess he wanted to make sure the deed was done. Greedy. Couldn't wait to spend that inheritance. Greed. See what that greed got him? Garrett cut the deal. He was first, but he cut the deal not to get the death penalty. That's what he did. When Chris was being questioned by the cops, Chris asked the cops what was the minimum he could do. The cop asked him, do you hate your parents that much? Chris looked at him dead in the eyes and said, you tell me. You tell me. Wow. They say Chris was arrogant. He was very cocky. And if he tried to show emotion, it was only for himself. This is what the news people said too. He was only for himself. He was so arrogant and so cocky. Nobody thought much of him at all. Nobody. Everything always felt rehearsed with him. Everything was always about him or his time at boarding school. You know, me, 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 me. When Chris was asked, Chris said he was in denial. He was in denial. He said that on the stand when he was asked how he was feeling at the time. Then the poor baby was crying so much he had to take a break. The only emotional things he had was about himself or his treatment, not his parents. They say sociopaths do not have a conscience, and he sure didn't. That's for sure. Exactly. Exactly. I don't care how much money you have. Don't give your kids everything and don't spoil them. There's no reason to. Um, I don't think he got it because both parents didn't die. I think it was because his dad is still alive. And my understanding now is he's dead. I think he died in prison. Um, I don't know from what, but I've just seen that. I've seen his obituary. Um, so I don't think he got an inheritance because his mom died, but he had to have both his parents die, from my understanding, and his dad survived. Mm. But I could be wrong. He could have got something from his mom, but he wouldn't have got it because they probably had it fixed where he had a sister. It probably would have went to her first before it would have went to the state or something like that. I'm sure the dad being a lawyer, they had it fixed where it definitely did not go to the state. Wait, what? I'm sure it probably did not go to the state. If he even got it, but he didn't. Trust me, he didn't collect that. Oh, you're welcome. Now his dad survived, but if you come in here late, he is blind in one eye. And listen, he was shot in the head twice, and it was with a 9 millimeter. He's lucky he survived. He's lucky he survived being shot in the head twice with that caliber. But it's very rare for a murder defendant to take the stand. But Chris wanted to take the stand. John said it was an emotional torture. The trial was 3 weeks. Although he was an attorney and he had been in there many, many, many times. Of course, he said there was no winners, the dad. He said, especially Chris, but Chris, he was no winner. He was no winner. But he had nothing but anger, hate, and greed in his heart. Absolutely nothing. And on July 22nd, the verdict was back, and he was guilty in first degree murder, and first degree attempted murder. And they said, by the way, they said sociopaths never, okay, this is what they said. They said sociopaths know the difference between right and wrong. That's what the experts said. Chris got 2 counts of life in prison, and both counts without the possibility of ever getting paroled. Ever. I'm going to see if I can show you these. See, there's when he was on the stand. It was only when asked, I'm in denial. Oh, I need a break. That was when he cried. There's when he was sitting in the courtroom. This is him when he got his mug shot when he was in jail. Totally different when he got arrested. There's when he was in Somalia, when he was sent over to Somalia in his teens. This is when his mom found the letter. She was reading the letter. He done planned it all out there. This is just a reenactment of how he choked her. He would put his hands on her. That's him when he was younger. That's his friend when he got arrested and his friend was in cuffs. That's the guy that pulled the trigger. This is the guy that had the affair with the wife, and he was also the law and partner with John. They at first thought he was a suspect, but he wasn't. That was when they were carrying his wife where she died. This is him now. And you see his eye. You see, he's showing you it also shot his. They shot him there too. They shot multiple gunshots. Multiple. That's when he was in the hospital ICU room. Okay, so that was one of the evidence bullets. That was their bedroom. Now that was him as a kid. Look, they gave him everything. Everything. Look at this. This was their house. This was their house. Now, I'd be scared to go up in a huge house like that, trying to commit some kind of crime. Look at that. I mean, cute little boy. Now, that's him and his wife. That's them. You know, when he was younger. Look, they did everything. All right, and that's where in the one eye, and he tells you it went through. I think he says here down to here is how it came through. That's a miracle in itself. That's a miracle in itself. Now, what I want to show y'all is this. This is this place. Hold on. Coral Reef Academy, a therapeutic boarding school for struggling boys. That's where you go to get the information for all of this. I had to send it to myself, so you'll probably see it from me. All right. That's the name of the place. Oh, you're fine. Wait, what? So you get more information. You can contact them by doing, I don't know if you can see it by doing that, but it looks like you have to go through admissions through Las Vegas, yada, yada, yada. I'm trying to figure out how I got to it a while ago. Hold on. I want y'all to see, get more information. It's a therapeutic boarding school for young boys that may have lost their way based on SAMAOA. I know I'm going to say that wrong. But our school offers both individual and group therapy led by licensed clinicians. And in addition, we also focus on several complementary growth areas to ensure that our program addresses each person. Okay, here it is. Let's see. No, that's not it. Hold on. Boarding. Let me see. Oh, here it is. Okay. I think. I'm going to show you the pictures and stuff. A new paradise. Our location sets us apart. See, there's what it looks like. It looks like a freaking, I don't even know what. Our location sets us apart. And then it has it all. Okay, so this is what I don't know if, you know how you spell something out? Like long ways, and then it means something. I don't know if this is all in code or not. This is strange to me. like W, and it says the individual is a central. Okay, so what does that mean? Like, hold on. Like, do y'all see the way it's long ways spelled? They don't spell nothing. Like, hold on. I don't know if you can see it. But anyway, like the WS, 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 W, it just keeps going over and over that. I don't know what that stands for. WS, WS. I don't know what any of that stands for. But anyway, it says the individual is central. Family and community are central. Respect is right. Respect is earned. Speed and efficiency. Relaxed and methodical. Wealth equals money and possessions. Wealth equals family, friends, food, and shelter. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. Only respectful requests earn an audience. Leadership is grasped through authority. Leadership is earned through service to others. Adulthood is a legal status granted based on age. Adulthood is a social status earned through demonstrated contribution and responsibility. Complexity and multitasking. Simplicity. Children and adults interact as peers. Respect experience. Fast food restaurants. Slow homemade food. Blood is thicker than water. Everyone who comes here is embraced as family unconditionally. Learning by experimentation. Learning by tradition and custom. A focus on material things. A focus on people. A youth-driven culture. Love and respect and care for the elderly. Independent or top-down decision making. Centrist-based decision making. Objectification of women. Respecting for mothers, sisters, and women generally. But I understand that it's this place. Yeah, this place that he was sent to. It's differences between Western culture. But look, I don't, okay. So, but all right. So, for instance, if you spell your name out or something, but you spell it long ways, like what would you? I don't know. And then I don't know an example right off my head. Like if you spell it long ways and then the T means something and the A means something and the M means something, the other M means something. But in this case, look, what I mean is, look how it's wrote. But the sentence don't match like the W. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like it's not spelling nothing. It's not spelling nothing. Is that code for something? I don't know. That's weird. I mean, why even put that on there? What does that stand for? I don't understand. What does that stand for? I guess the place, Millie. I don't know who wrote that. I mean, it's in their code and stuff. It's in their. Now I'm reading from the look. This is the place. It's just telling you their approach. It's a unique journey. They have licensed clinicians, recreation, mentors, their, treatment programs, what they're about, yada, yada, yada. it's just showing all the things, and they find out if the program is right for you and your kid or for your kid. I found it interesting. Um, and you click on that. It's okay. The culture and acceptance. You have to click on these little things about the program, who it employs, their treatment, healing, maturity, independence, in addition to offering individual and group therapy led by licensed clinicians. They focus on several growth areas. I don't know, they focus on individual growth, family, academics, self-care, social responsibility, culture, why they're saying why it sets you apart. I don't know. It's all types of things. 15 to 18 years old. Yeah, 15 to 18 years old is usually the age that you go there. As far as I can tell, it's only for boys. As far as I can tell. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't understand. And why so far away? That's just, I mean, I don't see, like, okay, look. Look where it's at. Oh, I'm on the other side. Look where it's at. Hold on. It's on a freaking island. I mean, they seem like they have everything there, but I mean, wow. Here. I just found it fascinating. I just found it really fascinating. And let's see, hold on a minute. Okay. Court TV one, I'm going to post it right now on my YouTube, but it's called the Court TV episode. It's called Fortunate Son, Someone They Knew with Tamron Hall. And I'm going to share it right now. I'm posting it. I'll just put on here so y'all know this is what I talked about in today's live. This is what it looks like. I just didn't want to, so I'm fixing to post it right now. It'll go to my community post, and you can hear. I just don't want to play it and have a chance on Court TV taking it down, or blocking it. Because sometimes if you play it, because see, he talks all through. That's the dad. He talks all through court. But it shows it. That drew them to Teddy. He talks through everything. It shows the night began with the birthday celebration with Susan Sutton, and it was her birthday, and it ended in a nightmare. And it just goes on and on and on, so it shows it shows a lot of stuff. It is about 45 minutes long. Yeah, that was a spooky island, wasn't it? So I just found that, that's the only reason I didn't play it. And I was studying it all day and thinking about it. And it's the first time I had heard about it. Somebody sent it to me, so they kind of wanted to get my thoughts on it. And, frankly, they want to know if Sebastian could be at a place like that. Possibly. I don't know. Possibly. I don't know if that's far away or not, but who knows? Anything's possible. Anything is possible, unfortunately. Anything's possible at this point. Nothing surprises me. Hey, Bailey. You have a wonderful evening, too. You have a wonderful evening. But yeah, just if you didn't watch it, rewind it. But that and go back. And Bailey, if you're hearing this, I just posted something from Court TV. You can go back and watch that too on my community post, and it tells the whole story, because I didn't know how they'd feel about me posting the whole story on here. And I'm not good about, if it's long, coordinating yet, going back and forth, But anyway, it is what it is. So I don't know who's live, but y'all can go watch them now, whoever it is. I know everybody's. Oh, Mary, I don't know if he, I would almost bet he does. Only reason why, I don't know for sure, but if I was a betting person, I would say yeah. The only reason why I would say that is because if they travel so much, I don't know. Is that, they were on that boat before when he was little. Think about that. I don't know where that was taken at or anything. But what if they wanted to go on cruises or whatever? I would just say yeah if I was a betting person. And let alone the family. Not that the family would want to take him anywhere, but we know their traveling habits. If I was a betting person, I'd say, yeah, remember where he's got that big fish? It could just be in the middle of an ocean like Florida, deep sea fishing. But, probably when he was little, they probably didn't, in a million years, whether at their hands or whether at somebody else's hands, or whether he was just a runaway, think this was going to happen in a million years. So they probably do. He probably does. And they probably made sure of it, because they probably didn't know that they were going to have all these issues or unwants or whatever you want to say, I would just guess. That would just be my guesstimate. But would somebody go check something like that? Probably not. Not that far. They do have places closer, but I don't know. The only way I see that would happen is if he didn't come home that night, but I don't know. But yeah, I would go back and watch it. I would. But I thank you all for being here. Y'all go watch. And Millie, I hope everything worked out today. Please text me and let me know. And y'all keep your prayers up for everybody. Be good, and I will see you out here on the streets, God willing, and the creek don't rise. Pray for these kids. Stay safe. Bye.